Let's share this bad boy.
You got it up yet?
I just did it. I just launched everything.
Gotcha. If I sit real still, it looks like my arms blend in with the chair.
You are fully camouflaged.
I am camouflaged.
Hey, who was your favorite monkey?
Probably growing. I'd say Mickey. It kind of
Mickey was
varied
your favorite?
as I got older, but growing up, I loved Mickey.
I was always a Peter guy for whatever reason.
I like Peter.
Yeah.
I like Peter. I like all of them, man. And Davy Jones and Marcia and all the whole thing.
It bums me out. That whole situation with Nesmith bums me out. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know, man. One left, and
it's only one.
If you were to go back and kind of look at some of the groups like that, maybe not superstar groups like that everybody knows who's died and who's not died, and go back and look, you probably be sad, disappointed, and surprised all at the same time of who's actually still living out of a lot of those groups and people we listened to growing up.
Which is weird because the drummer, sometimes the drummer is the first guy to die in the Who and Led Zeppelin, right?
That seemed to be, definitely.
But then with the Beatles, he's one of the two that's left hanging on in the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. In the band, might be the sanest one.
Exactly, he might be the most normal one.
Most normal
in the band Big Star. The last guy left is the drummer. The Eagles, the drummer's still hanging on while people are dying. I mean, it's very odd, very strange.
Yeah, it is odd. It is odd, and it's very sad because it seems like every time you look at the news or something, somebody else has passed away from that era.
People may not remember, but there was, it was two generations that were really absorbed by the Monkees because in the 80s there was a huge comeback based on MTV being able to get those reruns cheaply. They were, MTV was notoriously cheap, very very cheap.
Really?
They barely paid their VJs who couldn't make rent on some days and shit. Despite the fact that it was an extremely profitable company. And they would just reach out for anything they could that was cheap programming. They were able to get their hands on the Monkees reruns for nothing and just ran the shit out of them and actually were part of a Monkees kind of resurgence in the mid-'80s.
They had that song that came out about that time. That was Then, This Is Now.
It was a huge comeback. Big comeback hit, which was fueled in part by a whole new generation being introduced to these people.
Right. And well, I mean, I'm sure, and you and I, we didn't see the original run of this. We saw them in repeat and syndication.
Yeah, so that's how something.
Yeah.
I think my brother was old enough to he was a big fan in the first go around and stuff like that. But no, I was, they were not. But the second time around, as a phenomenon, it was really something that was interesting.
Yeah. And I think God, man, it just lit everything up from their old stuff too, because everybody, of course, went back to listen, and it was great, man. And Peter, and you probably know this, Peter used to come out to our area a lot, and out in Louisville.
I heard about this.
They used to come out there. Louisville is near Winston-Salem, the same county as Winston-Salem is,
right?
And they would have this I want to say as a 4th of July kind of thing,
like a hootenanny kind of thing or something.
Yeah, at the local park or something. It was an outdoorsy kind of thing, and he would somehow. I want to say that somebody in that area knew him. He
had some connection or something.
There was some there was definitely a connection there, and they said, "Hey, man, why don't you come out and check us out? And we pluck a few tunes, And he came out there and apparently loved it because he came out every year after that. So Peter Tork and Louisville, North Carolina, kind of have a big connection. It was kind of weird.
I liked Peter a lot, but yeah, we lost Michael Nesmith. So we're down to our final monkey, which is Mickey Dolenz, and it's a very sad thing.
Now, Mike, now is it Mike Nesmith's mom has the patent on the?
She was the whiteout woman. She was the whiteout woman.
Okay, right.
And then he was also, Mike had, they said, a hand in helping create MTV because he pitched a show called Pop Clips. And of course they did this weird movie. I think it was called Headquarters. I believe that was the name of the movie, because they had an album named
The Monkeys.
Yeah,
called Head. It was just called Head.
It was just called Head. That's right, with Jack Nicholson, and it was very weird and trippy, and it was like given credit as being, oh, this was inspiration for creating music videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can. Well, you can take that movie and do whatever you want to with it. You can break that down however you want. I don't
It's a straight up acid trip.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of like The Wall before The Wall, almost, but
very much so. It's very weird and trippy and all that stuff.
Well, I think Michael Nesmith was he was kind of like I'm not saying the rest of them were dumb, but I think he was like, he had a lot of intelligence about him. And I think at one point, and I want to say when they came back and did that was then This Is Now comeback. I want to say that he didn't do it. It was almost, and he kind of got the idea that it was kind of beneath him at that point. But
right,
I want to say he came back around, and I know he and Mickey were really tight the last few years, before Mike died. So
they played their last show just a couple of months ago together.
That's right.
Yeah,
they sure did. I think they were those West Coast shows, weren't they? I don't think they came
LA. It was like I don't want to say it's a Hollywood Bowl, but it was out in LA somewhere.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so that's part of what the shock is. But yeah, he had this show that he pitched to somebody called Pop Clips, and that eventually was something that was kind of transformed into MTV. Which, as you recall, at least 60% of MTV's early inventory was Rod Stewart videos.
That's all right.
It
could have been worse.
Rod Stewart bought into the whole thing very quickly, and they would play like videos of hot legs on Midnight Special and shit like that. So they would have to play that one over again.
Yeah, they would play some because they did play videos from like before MTV, because sometimes, not all the time, but like Hot Legs, for instance, they cut that, made a video of it before there was such thing as a video channel, or
that's right.
Really anywhere to watch. I don't even know where they play it, like on Dick Clark, like American Bandstand or something.
Like Midnight Special, or they played on Midnight Special for sure. Like Bohemian Rhapsody is another one where they just cut up some kind of movie and had that thing ready to go for years and years before there was an MTV or a video channel or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, I guess we need to talk about Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Well, we have two people. One I don't want to die of an overdose, and one that I wish would. Chris Jericho and Jeff Hardy. Can you guess which is which?
God. I have a pretty good idea. Yeah.
We start with Jeffrey Nero Hardy, who of course had his problems in Edinburgh, Texas. He came to the ring fucked up. He exited the match, and I think exited through the crowd.
Yeah, one I saw he did.
He was sent home immediately, did not make his appearance in Corpus Christi. They then offered him the let's make a deal, door number 1, door number 2, of go to rehab or get fired. He chose, I'm going to get
door
fired.
Door number 4? That's what he chose.
And his wife and his brother are still telling us that he's okay. He's all right. We know where he is. He's not under a bridge somewhere.
Matter of fact, Beth Hardy's tweet a couple days ago said, Jeff is fine. We are fine. Now go tweet everybody that you heard that, and heard in parentheses.
Again, this is the problem. The gossip surrounding your husband is really the problem, not your husband's multi-year chemical dependence issues. The problem is that people are talking about it and possibly are concerned about him, I don't know, dying. The problem is people gossiping around you.
I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to assume on anything in life, but I've also learned in life that if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
sure,
it's normally it's a duck. So
there's your Occam's razor, right there.
Perfect example.
Pardon the fuck out of me for thinking that Jeff Hardy may be on drugs again. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Right. I mean, it's not like it's a bad thing that we think that. I mean, why wouldn't we? I mean, we're human. Of course we're going to think that because of the shit you just said, of everything that's gone on in his past. I mean, it's what we call in psychology class, it's what we call coming to conclusions.
Based on evidence, I think.
Based on evidence.
Yeah, I believe there's some evidence to show that your husband has a problem with chemicals, with alcohol, and I'm having a little bit of trouble on this one with compassion, because I know it's a disease. I know that he's in some sense powerless over whatever chemicals that he's going for. I just also know that at some point in time you have to, in your life, reach out for the help that's been given you, which has been happening. I mean, it's happened to him for many years, for a long time. So I have a lot of I don't know. I have a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to Jeff Hardy. I don't want Jeff Hardy to die. I don't want him to suffer and hurt his family with this. And I think he can be fixed, cured, treated. I mean, there is no cure for dependence. You just treat it and you go by one day at a time. But you have to first off admit, I've got a problem. This isn't right. I need to make changes in my life so that I'm not doing this thing.
Doesn't it seem like, though, in a way, that he's admitted that he's got a problem, but he just doesn't want to really confront it or go all the way? It's like he goes like 75, 80% and just says, fuck it.
Yeah. It's either
that's what it seems like.
It's either like the penalties that he's paying for being addicted to drugs and alcohol, whatever chemicals it is, that's not bad enough. It's bad. I don't like it. I don't like being hit with a DWI down a Concord driving a Cadillac. I don't like everybody seeing me so fucked up I can't even wrestle Sting. And there's video of that's going to live forever till well after not only he's dead, we're dead, but a lot of people are dead. That's not bad enough. I'm going to continue down this path. And from time to time, if things get real bad, I can go ahead and just Band-Aid a couple things and move on with my life. That's it.
It's not that, he just, I don't know. I feel disappointed. I feel let down. I don't even know the guy, but I just feel let down because I put so much, I don't know, really not energy into it, but I put a lot of time and effort, I guess, into cheering for him and rooting for him, not only in life, but in wrestling in general, because, he's a hometown boy, or at least a North Carolina kid. And, got to root for those dudes. And just, he was exciting anyway, no matter where he was from. He was definitely the more charismatic, lack of a better term, of the two between him and Matt. So, I mean, he carried a lot of weight with that team. And Matt went on to do his own thing, but as a tag team, Jeff was that team. I'm sorry. And I'll argue at that point with anybody. I'm not taking anything away from Matt. Maybe it sounds like it, but I'm not. I'm just saying, when they were a tag team, Jeff was the main one. And you ask anybody, and I just, like I said, I just feel disappointed. He had me convinced when he made this last run here in WWE, when they were it almost seemed like right now, before this shit happened, they were getting ready to give him a little push,
Yeah.
I don't know how far it would have taken him, but he was, when he wasn't getting pushed, he was helping some of the lesser known talent, or some of the talent, just get over in general, and like good veterans are supposed to do, I guess. So I don't know. He just had me convinced that everything was hunky dory, and he, like you said, maybe had to put a Band-Aid or two on things once in a while, but nothing anybody had to see or know about, and that's fine. But when you go do what he did in Texas and just walk the hell out of a ring, and with a million freaking cameras rolling, I'm like you, dude. What are you supposed to say? I mean, what are you supposed to say about that?
Well, I think the way that these guys were brought up, as far as the way that they were raised in the business, was very old school. And the old school guys have a lot of problem admitting that they do have issues and that they need to get help, which I get. But at the same time, it's like you can end up dying, without ever raising your hand.
Right. Well, I don't really ever remember, I don't know, Jake Roberts walking the hell out of a match.
I don't know. He fucked over a lot of people, but yeah, I'm not really sure. He would smoke a lot of crack before the matches.
Well, I'm not denying that, but even more so to my point, if that's the case, at least he could do that and still stay with it and halfway act like he's wrestling, and Hardy just can't handle the shit, man. I guess, I don't know.
How much of this do you think is him self-medicating based on maybe some chronic pain that he has from taking 25 years of the most insane bumps that we've ever seen?
I think it's that more than anything, man. And I just don't know. I just don't think he knows how to regulate things.
Right.
I think he does. I'm with you. This is my theory. This is what I think. I do think he's rehabbed enough to where he's not just taking them to get high, to
Right.
get a good vibe going there. I think he's taking it because he's older and his body's wearing down and he freaking needs them. And
Right.
I just don't think he knows how to regulate it. I think he just maybe goes overboard with it.
The problem with drugs is when you start taking them, the ratio is always a lot of pleasure, very little pain. And as you continue to take a lot of drugs over a period of time, the ratio completely changes, and it's a great deal of pain, very little pleasure.
Body can't take that shit when you get older, man.
And then, I mean, as much as the boys have come up with new stuff and new stuff and new stuff, at some point you can't just keep switching from this to that or whatever. I don't know. I hope this doesn't come out as a tragic ending. I hope he's able to beat it, because he would be an amazing story to tell some young talent about, hey, don't go the route that I did. Don't be years of doing what I did and break yourself down. You can fix this. You can make this happen, because there are resources that are available to you. This doesn't have to be 1980 and I'm doing a bump or two before I go to the ring. It doesn't have to do that. It doesn't have to be that way.
No. Well, that's kind of what I thought we were getting right now. I thought that's the version we were getting now of Jeff Hardy, But
that's the disappointing and the part that's like, you from my point of view, where you have to kind of shut off your mental fatigue. It's like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again with this guy. And that's where I lack some compassion or whatever about what's going on. It's just, you buy into it and you're like, I'm good. I'm on the straight and narrow. I got that DWI back in Concord a couple of years ago. It really kind of straightened me out, made me realize, hey, I've got a problem. Not everybody who gets a DWI has a necessary drinking problem, but in a lot of cases, it's a pretty good indicator. It's somewhat symptomatic in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it's a damn wake up call for whatever your situation is with it.
It should be. And then of course he just continues to do what he does, and this gets me back to our buddy Uso. He didn't really receive any punishment at all for that whole situation back in the spring. And you wonder if he's just going to keep on rocking and rolling. Eventually, he's going to be the guy that crashes his car into a bridge somewhere, maybe kills somebody. Maybe he does like a Henry Ruggs III situation out in Las Vegas.
Well, not until he walks out of a match. I don't think they'll do anything. That's when they start opening up eyes, is when people actually see him doing something like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are just reading it and not really taking it to heart or whatever. They just read about it. But if you see it, you're like, okay.
Who's the winner in that one? Less house shows, right? Less matches for the boys. Yeah. Less house shows for the boys to walk out of, right?
That's right.
As long as you can manage not to
Everybody
walk out of
wins.
If you can manage not to walk out of a day one pay-per-view in front of Nick Khan and Vince McMahon, you're golden. You're fine.
I don't think that would be that hard. But,
so, I mean, that's kind of the way it is. Did we mention this? I don't know if we discussed this last week when we were going. I thought last week's episode was pretty good, by the way. I don't really pat us on the back that much. I thought, as unserious and as jokey as we can be, sometimes we're pretty funny. We were completely serious and went over those MVPs and those top 5 stories. I thought it was about as good a discussion as anybody's had on that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
We were fairly.
And I went back and listened to it. And I was like, I started rethinking my top 5.
See,
yeah, I agree, man. I was kind of proud of that
one. I think we've mentioned it in brief that Meltzer has mentioned, and other people have mentioned, that AEW tickets, WWE tickets have gone on sale in certain areas where they've usually been very strong, and they're having some soft sales issues. I think the Greensboro on sale for AEW was not what they thought it was going to be. And I don't know how they did on that. I don't know how WWE did with that SmackDown that we were not at because of WrestleCade.
I don't know. I never talked to anybody that even went. Did you?
No, I'm just getting indications anecdotally of stuff that's going on here. Like, there's a huge The Eric Church concert is next weekend here in Greensboro. And Eric Church is one of the biggest tickets in country music. And this is considered a hometown show for him. He always sells this out. And as far as I know, they're still advertising on Facebook, on radio, and on the different places for tickets for that show, which I'm stunned. I'm shocked that that's still a thing.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's people that are still scared to go out and do things. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
At least in environments like that where you're in close quarters with people, concert stuff.
I know that the Biden haters would like to say that the price of gas is so high, people would not be able to afford tickets.
Oh, I know. God dang.
The price of gas, and I hate, again, these are facts I hate to bring up. The price of gas has been going down, and unemployment has been going down, and employment numbers continue to be good. Inflation continues to be a concern. Hell, inflation
that could be an issue.
Inflation on concert tickets has been bananas, for 35 years now. So that's not even. One of my favorite bands tried to do something about that a while back, and people made fun of them. So you get what you get, you bastards. But the Eric Church show, and then the Avett brothers have a big show at the Greensboro Coliseum on New Year's Eve, and that's all. They've always been extremely popular in this area, and I think they're still advertising for tickets for that. So I don't know anecdotally. I know that they had a lot of success last weekend at the Greensboro Coliseum with Disney on Ice, which is always a huge deal. It's a crazy, bananas, massive cash cow. I don't care where you put that thing. I don't care which arena it's in and what section of the country. People come with their credit cards rocking for that.
Oh,
thing,
God,
right?
yeah. Well, I remember when I was producing games for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes.
And when they were away,
right,
I would still have to go to the arena to produce the game because the studio was there. So of course they would have events when they were gone at the arena. And one time Disney on Ice was there. Man, let me tell you something. I don't know if I ever told you this, but that was like being. I'm trying to think of something to equate it to. They would not. You could not look at anything. You had to, if I walked into that place, I had to have tunnel vision and go straight to my thing. If I veered off, if I looked at anybody, if I talked to anybody, I was like taken out back and put in the damn stock, man.
It's like being around Jennifer Lopez. You can't make eye contact.
Exactly, man. It was like Lopez on ice. It was, man. You couldn't do anything. They just no pictures. God dang! If they saw you pull out a camera or like that, the Gestapo was after you.
Yeah, so, Mickey's Third Reich would go and just beat the shit out of it.
Oh my God, it was incredible. I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
They'd put you in Goofy Tanamo Bay. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Give me that phone.
Hey, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Come here. But like getting to the arena just so you could do your job was crazy because parking was nuts and traffic was nuts and all that shit. Correct? Yeah.
Forget that. Never mind that. Once you got in, it was just goddamn even worse.
So I say all that to say I don't know. It feels, and I've just heard this, and as I said, I've experienced anecdotally. Maybe the live event business, which they had thought was going to have like a huge boom because of a lot of pent up demand, I don't know if it may be a little soft right now, softer than they think.
I really think, man, I really think it has a lot to do with people being a little jittery about going back out into that kind of environment right now, especially with, every time you turn around, there's another variant coming out. It's like they're like goddamn John Cougar Mellencamp songs in the 80s. There's a new one every fucking week.
It's the Omicron variant, which appears to be more virulent, but maybe not as deadly.
Not as deadly, which is always good. But
we still don't know.
I think I think that has a lot to do with it, man. I may be, and I say that knowing that a lot of people around here are anti-mask and all that shit. Yeah. So yeah. I'm keeping that in mind too. But I do think a lot of people who do go out are mask wearing people, and people like you and I are a little, cautionary when it comes to stuff like this. So I think that it has a lot to do with it, man. And plus, just the fact of it being right here at Christmas, people trying to get Christmas gifts and stuff. It's kind of an odd time too, but I don't know. I'm just kind of, blowing in the wind here. So I don't know.
People, I think, will be getting. I mean, I think the Eagles have a big thing coming next year, and like people are going to get those tickets in their stockings and shit like that. But I would just keep an eye on that as far as the live concert. Now they've repealed the mask stuff here in Guilford County. I don't know. Has Forsyth County also repealed that as well?
Yeah, they have. The county has, but plenty of stores. I don't know about Greensboro, but plenty of stores in Winston-Salem still require you to wear a mask. Like McKay's used records and disc and stuff. You got to wear a mask there.
I went to something. I went to a show at the Cat's Cradle up in Carborough, and Orange County. You got to show the card, and you have to wear a mask. There's no, there ain't no two ways about it. They're not playing, which I was completely fine with.
Good.
I've had to show the card 3 times at shows. One of those times required it to be the physical paper card. The other 2 times I could just show it on the phone. So,
well, that's good. I haven't had to show mine yet. I'm anxious to. I've got a nice little plastic that's not laminated, but it's
you slip it in a little case there.
Yeah, a little plastic. Yeah, like a credit card or something.
Well, they said not to laminate it because you might need boosters.
You got to ride back on it.
They said you might need extra shots, and I was like, that's bullshit. That's funny. Chris Jericho is out of the hospital, Bryant, following a non-COVID related health issues.
Are we sure? Are we sure it's a non-COVID related issue? Are we?
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
He's saying it, so asking. I mean, I don't know if you should doubt this man's integrity. I don't think that's very fair at all.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Do we know if there's any ventilators involved?
I just
asking. I don't know.
Look, I think you're going well over into HIPAA laws, even though he was in Great Britain.
Am I?
On Twitter this morning, Wrestling Observer writes, Jericho posted a picture of himself out of the hospital, writing, back on the streets. He had been in the hospital since Thursday evening. Jericho's band Kviaa set to perform Friday in Swansea, Wales, when the performer of the concert announced Jericho had checked into a hospital with what was described as a non-COVID related treatable health issue. I'm feeling good, Jericho wrote to David Meltzer following the announcement. They just wanted to observe me overnight, and I'm in the right place, not COVID related. The band later canceled Saturday's show in Nottingham. The status of the show set for London tonight, which should be going on right now, is not known. Jericho has been on the road in the UK with Kviaa this last week. He was recently attacked on AEW television by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia, Bryant. Daniel Garcia. Yeah. Now, he was the hot guy before Hook. I don't know if you remember, because we have a new guy that pays their tuition in full to the Monster Factory who gets a push on television. This week, it's Hook. Like 3 weeks ago.
Not only was he on television, he got the main event.
3 weeks ago, it was Daniel Garcia. So the guy that we're supposed to think is the new hottest, greatest thing in the history of wrestling is Hook. He's just doing things, has charisma, and is the most unbelievable thing. And again, this is because he paid in advance 6 months worth of tuition at the Monster Factory. So that's why he's kicking ass and taking names on All Elite Wrestling.
Because he's paid up on his dues. That's why.
I don't know. I don't know what it is to get to the Monster Factory. I don't know if it's $2,000. Let's say $2,000. $2,000 buys you a main event slot on a nationally exposed wrestling promotion. That's a pretty good investment.
That's a real good investment.
Yeah.
For the person paying $2,000.
Now, somewhere today, there's some kid and he's on a Greyhound bus from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and he's just getting into Atlanta, and he's got mom's money in an envelope, and he's going to pay, and you're going to see him on probably Dynamite and Rampage next week. And then, Hook will be the Daniel Garcia of whatever. He'll be out. He'll be done, and you'll forget all about that guy.
Well, we don't want to, you don't want to get overloaded on the Hooks and the Garcias, man. Because
so how full
there'll be a what was the WWE called with light heavyweight dudes?
Oh yeah, it was called Terrible. That's what it was called.
Yeah. Well, we would have an AEW Terrible then. Is what we would have if they could
Oh,
get these guys in.
it was full of vanilla midgets. Isn't that what we were calling them? It was if they were full of vanilla midgets. Isn't that what Triple H said? And that's part of, again, the hilarious part of this whole Triple H has been faded. Faded. Here's the guy that buried so many people, did the vanilla. And now it does appear that God is paying Hunter back for some of his sins.
You know, that's fair.
If he does end up passing away, I bet Bret Hart's ex-wife does go and piss on his grave. I'm just going to say, Julie Hart finds him somewhere and goes and pisses on his grave.
Mm. Mm. I wonder if somebody will take a video of that.
So did you enjoy the All Elite Wrestling Dynamite from Long Island, their brand new arena? And I understand the New York Islanders have not won a game yet in that particular building. I don't know where I heard that.
Who told you?
I don't know. I think I'm a big hockey guy. I'm reading Canucks.com or something. I don't know. It was something.
There might be a Canucks.com.
There might be.
It was all right. I've seen worse. It was, I'll give it a B.
The stuff with Punk and MJF was just fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. But
I mean, come on.
It's it's going to be. It's just not. It can't not be good.
It's so good. MJF with his people, and Punk getting the digs in about hockey and all that other shit, and then the boys, the more ethnically diverse PG-13 boys going to the ring and rapping about Cuomo and stuff like that. Very topical, very edgy, very edgy,
quite edgy, especially for wrestling geeks.
Didn't we get? I'm trying to think. Oh, we got another. Did we get another main event with Cody? Was it Cody in the main event? I'm trying to even remember what happened there in the main event. Because the week before was the flaming tables with the scabs all over his back or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what the main event was this time.
But it was. I thought the show overall was very good. They seem to be doing okay without Jim Ross in his announcer seat. A little bit of problem. The ratings, they're not doing all that great. Ratings are not doing all that well.
I don't know, man. I'm still not sure what to make of that exactly. Maybe they just everybody's just they reached their peak when those three guys, Cole and Punk and Danielson, all came in pretty much at the same time, and they just you can't sustain that. You can't sustain the unless you do this shit all the time, and then it would get old. People coming in all the time, so there's a fine line, man. Obviously, there's a fine line you got to walk, but I don't know why they're tapering off other than just, it's just kind of like I said, just reached their peak on.
Showbuzz Daily has the AEW Dynamite ratings as 872,000, up 1.28%, which I don't consider that to be much of a victory.
No. And you'd think it'd be picking up a little bit with the whole, Daniel Bryan Hangman thing.
Well,
and MJF Punk.
A person much more cynical than myself would call that a dead cat bounce, I think. Dynamite drew a 0.33 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. That's up 6.45% from last week's 0.31. The 0.33 key demographic rating represents 430,000 viewers who watched the show from 18 to 49. That's up 5.91%. According to WrestleNomics, Dynamite ranked number 5 on the cable top 150 this week. Bravo, with a 0.33 rating in that key demo, which is good. And they ranked 36 in viewership for the night on cable this week. It's not bad. It's just not good.
Right.
You would want, ideally, for them, particularly going into this transition in just a couple of weeks on TBS, to go out on a high note. Because, again, what I think fans of AEW have gotten used to is just a constant bunch of hot-shotting. If you're hot-shotting all the time, you're doing nothing.
Well, that was. Remember, we talked about that about a year or so ago, when this was AEW was in its infant stages, and they were And I get that, and we understood that, sometimes you got a hot shot to get eyeballs over there to you and that sort of thing. But it was getting to the point, it seemed like, where it was, people were just kind of used to it, and there was no effect to it after a while. But now it settled down, and now they hot shotted 3 guys, bam, 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 right on top of each other, and kind of got some eyeballs, and now they've settled back down again. So, like I said, man, it just seems like it's a fine line between hot shotting and staying on course to keep your viewers. I don't know.
This was what they had. This is what's happened in December so far. It's 861,000 total for December 1st, 872,000 for the one most recent. These are not tremendous numbers when you look at the November stuff, which was 878, 913, 984, and 898. It's below all of that. And then October the 27th was 941,000. And that was their return to the regular Wednesday time slot after all the NBA stuff and everything.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and point fingers at other things too, but I think there's some other things involved too. Like, I don't think, like, I can't even tell you the last time I saw a Dynamite where all 2 hours were just fan-fucking-tastic. There's some letdown moments throughout the shows for sure. So
they always seem to start well, and they seem to finish well, right?
Definitely start well. Definitely start well. That's AEW. I got to tell you, man. I'm glad you said that. AEW is, to me, so far, especially as of late, one of the best wrestling shows at the beginning that I've ever seen. Now, Nitro had their moments, of course, back in the day,
right.
but right now they don't. WWE doesn't even hold a candle to them. I don't think, the way they start shows.
No.
Now, ending, yes, sometimes they do drop the ball a little bit, but more by and large, I think the ending, like you said, their endings are really good.
And I also would say what they do well is that 9 o'clock. They have something at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock, that keeps your attention. Yes. It seems like where the problem is, after the first 2 segments, there's always kind of a lull there. And then after that first segment of the second hour, there's always kind of a lull there. And I think the answer for this is more Dan Lambert. If the promotion could probably get more Dan Lambert on.
Well, they could just you wait.
Nobody's ever going to convince me that the Dan Lambert thing is it's nothing other than like a hot poker up Jim Cornette's ass. To them, that's Jim Cornette to me, and they just keep going with it. He's gotten heat a couple of times, but for the most part, there's white heat on that guy.
I was gonna say it's X-Pac heat, man. It's he just doesn't appeal to me, man. It's just he seems contrived. It seems non-believable. I don't believe Cornette came across as just believable as hell.
Yeah, he did.
But Lambert just, I don't know, man. He's just annoying as shit, is all he is.
It's not like real heat.
No.
Your main event on Wednesday Night Dynamite was Long Dong Silver against Bryan Danielson.
That's right. I mean, that was
after the match. Now, have you seen? Did you see the poster that for Winter is Coming, where they had Hangman Page and the font they used looked like it was Wangman?
I didn't pay attention.
So Bryan Danielson tweets out, "Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to take on Wangman." So once you see it.
Wait, man.
Yeah, it was a Long Dong Silver there, who, by the way, absolutely
That's
is incredible. He's Long Dong Silver is definitely a huge, I would say, a credible competitor for Bryan Danielson. I thought at any moment he could totally take him out.
Dude,
what the fuck am I watching?
It's not. I mean, he's like, it's like Hornswoggle almost.
It really is. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, you just don't get it. It's great. It's very similar to something they get in FMW wrestling back in 1999. It's like, no, it's just stupid, motherfucker.
Dude, you remember when you and I went to to one of the last CWF shows, and Marco Stunt was there,
Yeah.
and how is entertaining as he was, how unbelievable the shit. I mean, it just wasn't believable when he was in
No,
there
it
with those
wasn't.
dudes, and it wasn't like the CWF guys are that big. They're like Trevor, Trevor size. Who am I trying to say? What is his damn name?
Trevor Lee,
What
Cameron Grimes,
is Cameron Grimes? Goddamn,
who looks great
they're
right
like,
now, by the way.
oh god, yeah, man. So they're like all his size,
Yeah,
They're not, they're not huge guys,
not big guys. Yeah,
not big guys. I mean, they're a couple of them, but by and large, they're not. But it just looked like that, man. It just didn't. That whole Silver Daniels, and Daniels is not the biggest guy in the world either.
no, he's not. But it's just stupid. I mean, it's like, and he gets in all this offense against him, and then Bryant, I guess it's part of it is, I guess they're trying to get Danielson over as a heel, so that he's beating up on the little guy. He's beating up on the dwarf or whatever he's beating him up on. Then Wangman has to come make the save or whatever. And I don't know. I would also, by the way, I want to go back to last week's Dynamite. I thought CM Punk gave Lee Moriarty way too much offense. I'm sorry. Did you watch that match?
I didn't see it. I didn't.
I like Lee Moriarty, but this is CM Punk, and he's like come back after 7 years, and he's rolling people, and he fucking makes Lee Moriarty look like Kurt Angle.
Well, I think isn't that really kind of an AEW thing where these guys they're not going to get 3-seconded like Bianca Belair did,
I guess. I mean, I'm all in favor of people not getting guzzled, but at the same time, you're two stars right now that you have to protect in this promotion are CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. We can talk about Hangman, we can talk about MJF, we can talk about other people, but the two guys that you absolutely 100% have to protect right now are those two guys. They're the biggest stars that you have. And for you to be rolling around with this guy who's been wrestling for about 45 seconds and making him, I swear to God, making him look like he's like the shit, like he's fucking Brian Pillman from 1997. I don't buy it. I don't get it. I think it's ridiculous.
I don't know, man. They like that guy. I mean, Silver's not a bad wrestler, but it's just that.
Here's Lee Moriarty, Silver, Sean Spears, all these guys, even Christian Cage doing it. Oh, he's a nice guy and the boys like him, right? How many guys on the payroll do we have who are that? They can't really draw. They aren't all that great, but the boys like them and they're good guys in the locker room. Like, that's fucking half the roster. Jesus, to an extent, even though Colt Cabana has been embarrassed recently, that's part of his appeal. He's able to kiss. He's enough to kiss. He kisses enough ass in the locker room.
I'm sure.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, again, AEW still has their flaws that they're not 100% for sure. I don't think, not in my opinion.
Well, but now you got to love the fiery table that Cody went through.
No.
What the fuck? What the fuck was I watching? What was that supposed to be?
I don't know. Over the top shit, man. Just what was that? Atlanta Street Fight? What was that?
Yeah, that's what it was. Atlanta
Street Fighter or something. I don't know.
Shithead Street Fight. What that was. Oh, but his wife's back, so that was great.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw her beating on the scroll for. Matter of fact, it was during Dynamite. I saw where it gave the results for Dark. And I saw that she defeated somebody. I'm like, didn't know she was back.
Yeah, she's back. Again, speaking of people we can't figure out if we're going to cheer or if we're going to boo.
Well, it depends. I think she's probably the same category as Cody as far as the crowd's concerned. I think they lump them together.
He comes to the ring. Cody comes to the ring and he takes off his coat. He's got like this stuff on his skin. It looks like it's like dry skin or something. Like he's been sunburned or something. And I think he put that shit on that's supposed to protect you from the fire, but I think he put it on too soon and it like dried his skin out and flaked up and shit.
It may have.
And then when it dries and then you get sweaty, when you crash through fire, the fire sticks to your skin. It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty like exactly the wrong way to go with that.
Yeah, that was. I didn't see that, but that, yeah.
But
one way to go with that. Well, what
clearly,
did you make of him coming out and interrupting Kviaa?
I still they don't know what they want to do with
They're
that guy.
half-assing him. Is that what
I
you're
don't know
saying?
what I don't know what they want to do with that guy. I mean, it's clear that he wants to be a heel. No, he doesn't want to be a heel. The crowd wants him to be a heel. And then I was talking this over with our buddy Tyson. I said, you don't make the stipulation that I will never compete for the championship again, right? You don't make that unless you're going to go back on it. There's no point in making that stipulation unless you're going to renege on it, right?
Yeah, of course. For somebody like him, come on.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. So now I swear to God, they can't figure out what to do with him. The crowd wants to boo him so badly, and the crowd reaction to him has become a thing. It's become like its own sentient thing that we have to deal with on a regular basis. So
it's kind of a shame in a way.
It takes away from the show. It takes energy out of everything. He's taken whatever momentum he had coming into this promotion 2 years ago, and it's gone. And now we have season 2 of the shitty. So now we're going to have to set up things to deal with him and Brandy on Roads to the Top. And I can't. Previously on Roads to the Top, I'm going to have to turn into a bad guy. But I don't want you to turn into a bad guy. But I got to be a bad guy. But I don't want you to turn into a bad guy. So this is going to go on for this is going to be like the thing over a period of time.
Yeah, you're probably right. You know what? Let's compare and contrast a little bit for a second. You got Miz over here with his show on WWE. I think people would get probably a mixed reaction. I'm not saying he would get all cheers just because of his past or whatever, just being a jerk or his character, not himself. But if I was WWE, I would turn him into a babyface. Why wouldn't you turn him into a babyface? If you're going to have a show like that and expect people to watch, why would you watch a show of somebody who's actively a heel, clearly a heel? And I wouldn't give a shit about it. If I was, the regular wrestling fan, whatever, I would never watch their show. I would never watch a heel show,
Yeah, and also if like you're in a program with him on WWE television, you're the babyface against Miz. All you do is him showing being the goofy ass dad on that show. That's what you show clips of him. Oh, you try to be a badass and beat people up and shit. Here you are dressing up in like as a princess for your kid's birthday party and being a complete goofball.
Right. But and then you got Cody over here in AEW that people, I guess, they want to boo him, but I'm sure he would get some, he still gets some sort of a mixed reaction. But overall, I think people want to boo him. So maybe that's why they're wanting to hold back from him being a heel, because he does have that show. And if that's the case, then, I can't say that I blame him, because it would just ruin my argument for The Miz.
Yeah, but at the same time, are you going to let the fucking show on TNT like dominate how you're booking this guy on your wrestling show? Obviously, so what you're saying essentially is that Roads to the Top is a much more important show than Dynamite.
I'm saying if you're going to have a show, if you're going to put time and effort into making a show, you don't want your main character to be a heel in your other show that's getting people to watch that show.
I recently got the trial subscription for 30 days to the Wrestling Observer, so I'm going to read from some of the latest David Meltzer newsletter. The decision was made vis-a-vis Jeff Hardy to let him go rather than suspend him. He was given a similar 90-day non-compete period, so he will be paid through March the 9th. That's where he becomes a free agent. So we're going to see how serious Tony Khan is on drugs, on the war on drugs, right? We'll see if Tony Khan is like, well, he's not too much of a druggie for me. We'll go ahead and sign him up. No problem.
Now, come on, man. Do you really think he's not going to sign him with Matt still there, assuming Matt is still there? And there's so much he could see that they could do. Not that they would do it or do a good job of it, or
we have to
do a good job at it. But we have things you could do.
We have to craft a good lie about why we care about the performer's health and how this is different than giving Mox time off and we're fine. And I've talked with Jeff and he's assured me he's not going to be a drug addict and smoke crack backstage and then walk out through the crowd. So I'm okay with it.
You know that's coming. You know, you said it, man. That is exactly what we're going to hear. Almost, probably word for word.
Jeff will be tested weekly, random drug test. Bullshit. And he will then have to, through our stringent drug protocols, which are, if Mox almost dies and gets Narcan, we'll say he has a drinking problem. Those are our strict protocols here in All Elite Wrestling about drugs. We're very serious about it.
I just can't believe if he has a chance to get Jeff over there that he wouldn't do it. Maybe not. I don't know. He just seems like too much of a wrestling mark type fan. Tony Khan does to pick up Jeff Hardy if he could.
So it's why, again, I mean, I don't want to be rude about this, but yeah, you got to book Moxley and you got to book Jeff Hardy in a Narcan on a pole match with Scott Hall as your guest referee.
Bro.
That's it. That's exactly right. That's what you have to do. There wouldn't be any problem with that. The live description, according to David Meltzer, is that Jeff Hardy, 44 years old, started running around ringside posing for photos with the fans before the match. The faces are supposed to do that after the match. He worked the match and mostly sold, and we didn't hear anything unusual about that. When he got hot tagged out, he just disappeared because the match was going on. People didn't notice.
I did see the end. Did you see when they won, when Drew and what was his other tag team partner?
And I was looking in here.
But anyway, whoever his other tag team partner, I remember they raised Drew's hand and Drew's like looking around. You can see him like mouth, "Where's Jeff?" And he's like,
he's out back with Jake Roberts.
He's out back being Jake Roberts.
So yeah, there's he's being that's the name of our new documentary, Being Jake Roberts. Blackjack Lanza, good articles about Blackjack Lanza, and I thought they did a really good salute to Blackjack on Friday Night SmackDown. In WWE, when they give a shit about you, they can put together a really nice package. when they haven't seen you as shitting on the promotion or or if you did some great things outside their purview where they don't give a fuck about you, that's not going to happen. But if you kissed Vince's ass as a producer for many years back after your wrestling career, you're going to get a couple of minutes on national television.
Oh, yeah. Nice 2 minutes.
Hey, Dad, why do you still work for Vince? He treats you like shit and you don't make that much money. I mean, you do have some stock options. Hey, when I die, 2 minets on SmackDown.
Watch that package, baby.
It's going to be good. Come in here, Jack. I'm going to get the package together when you die. Look at that. You like this? That's you and fucking... Look at fucking Mulligan. What a drunk. You're a drunk. All right, is there anything in there you didn't like? I don't give a shit. That's what we're going to run. When you end up dying, how you feeling today? Don't cough near me. Don't sneeze near me. He does that shit all the time. Hey, Hunter, come in here. We're already putting together your video package because it looks like you're going to croak here pretty soon. Here's, I don't know, you're doing this shit. We're going to have you burying Punk. We're going to have you doing the thing where you're doing the Nation of Domination. We got the blackface. We're not going to blur that out because fuck political correctness. Fuck the cancel culture. We're going to do 2 minutes. If you could die during sweeps, that'd be pretty helpful. You think you can do that for me, Hunter? Sure, I love you so much, Paul. You're like a son. Thanks, Dad. If you could just, if you could die during February, May, or November, that's going to help us out the most. What's going on with your heart? It's not all the cocaine you did back in the day, is it? Did you do cocaine? Because I did a shit ton of cocaine. I kicked its ass. Hey, Blackjack, here's your package. And I mean,
what if they gave him a copy of it before he died?
Yeah, here you go. You're pretty much dead to us, so go ahead and just take this shit. Don't try to sell this or anything. We'll kick your... You saw they're going to stop producing DVDs and Blu-rays and all that shit, right?
Really?
Yeah. They're done. Yeah, because they have to pay royalties off that. So fuck you, performers. No more of that shit. All that shit's transitioning to the cock. So it's not gonna work. That's not gonna work for us, brother.
So they're so they're going to be like really collector's items now, right?
I guess. I don't know.
At some point, I guess they will be.
Lanza, who was trained originally by Vern Gagne, could wrestle on the mat. That means how many? Just name the number of people who were trained by Vern Gagne. You ready? Well, the first guy just celebrated his 50th anniversary of his first match. That would be Richard Morgan Fleer.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Steamboat, Sergeant Slaughter, Iron Sheik. All of those guys were part of that incredible class. And then now you can add
Hennig? Was his?
I don't know if Hennig was necessarily trained by him or not, or if Hennig was trained by his father. He might have gotten some of that. And I don't know that those Robbinsdale guys, I don't know if all those guys were trained by him as well, like Rick Rude and the Road Warriors and all that. I don't know if those people were either. But
it's a good question.
It's an all-star. It's an all-star selection when you look at some of the Hall of Famers who were trained by Vern Gagne. Who apparently, I don't know if I told you this, there was a rumor I heard on another podcast. Which one was it? It was Barry and Bowderin's podcast. I think they heavily hinted that Vern Gagne had the Strom Thurmond thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's, could be worse, I guess.
He may have been racist, but his dick was not.
Right.
That seems to be... And the Gagne family can't sue me because you can't slander dead people. So you got to take your reputation, go forward, and earn money. If I lie about you and then you go out in the streets and go, I couldn't earn money because Britt Whitmire said that I blah, 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 blah. Well, you're dead now, so you don't have to go out and earn money. So, blah. That's right. Blackjack Lanza. Yeah. He was by no means a top-level worker, but he was 6'4", didn't have a big belly like most of the wrestlers of that era. Well, fair enough. He wasn't thickly muscled, but was a favorite of women and had enough size to be a threat for the top babyfaces. Later in his career, when he was nearly 50, he had an AWA run as a babyface where he feuded with Heenan. He also was part owner of the promotion in Winnipeg, but after Vince McMahon's expansion, he could see the writing on the wall. Let me translate that. He got fucked. Here's how it goes. You either bend over or I bend you over. What do you want? It's up to you. Lube or no lube? Deal or no deal?
At least he's giving him options.
He retired in 1985 and got a job with an agent at the WWF. Hey, Lanza, you want to be my bitch? Yeah.
Can I get a good package when I die?
Yeah, I'll give you a good package right now. Let me tell you about this story with me and the Ultimate Warrior.
You don't have to wait till you die to get this package, my friend.
Play poker with me some night up in Stanford in my mansion.
Is this the one in about the basement? I don't know, sir.
I'm just going to ask you a hypothetical question, not related to anything. If you and I were just hanging out with some dudes and a guy passed out, would you like start fucking him in the ass and like say, "Hey guys, watch this"? And would the people around you go, "I don't know if you should do that"?
I just can't imagine a scenario with that happening with me.
I don't find this humorous or entertaining. I'm going to take my leave, sir.
Yeah, none of the above.
Look at me. I'm fucking him in the ass. I know you are, and I don't want to be around for it. On so many levels, I don't want to be around for it. I don't want to have to give a statement to cops or talk to lawyers or anything. Or I don't want to recall this in my sleep as I'm night sweating. I don't want any of this.
I wonder, what their reaction would be if something like that would have been, I guess.
Yeah, because of course it never happened. And if you're just standing there, I can't imagine. If you leave, you're fired.
Well, you better watch.
You better watch. Look at my eyes. Make eye contact. Wait a minute. What's my level of commitment? Am I like 2 minutes or till I finish? I don't know. I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait.
But you're the genetic jackhammer, sir.
I don't want to wait. I can't. It's all painful. And like you sue him years from now because, like, in the middle of trying to have sex with your wife, you get this mental image of him. Oh no, God, it's the worst.
PTSD.
I lose my erection every single time.
Post-traumatic sex syndrome.
Oh God. I've done all I can do. Do you have any closing thoughts on another award-winning episode of Katie Vick is Alive?
Phew. I'm done. After the basement scene, I'm done.
I'm done. And happy Christmas to all of you. If you are shopping for presents, still time to get great deals from Amazon at our website, which is katievick.com. Shop through our website, our Amazon store, which is katievick.com. Bryant is on Twitter and Instagram at Bry Sports, BRY Sports. On TikTok, he's Stanley Jackson 23. The show is at Katie Vick Alive. On Instagram, I'm BDub for Reels, BDUB number 4, REELZ. And on Twitter, it's at Britt Whitmire, BRITTWHITMIRE. Until next time, fans, we'll see you ringside.